Spring is here, and you can now get almost anything you need for your sunny days delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a well-groomed lawn delivered, but you can get a chicken parmesan delivered. A cabana? That's a no. But a banana? That's a yes. A nice tan? Sorry, nope. But a box fan? Happily, yes. A day of sunshine? No. A box of fine wines? Yes. Uber Eats can definitely get you that. Get almost anything delivered with Uber Eats. Order now. Alcohol in select markets. Product availability may vary by region. See app for details.
Hola.
Hello, this call is being translated.
Abuela, listen to what my phone can do.
Abuela, escucha lo que mi teléfono puede hacer.
Wow. Ahora dime sobre tu novia nueva.
Wow, now tell me about this new girlfriend.
Huh?
Tú sabes lo que dije.
You know what I said.
Language is no longer a barrier thanks to Live Translate with Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Learn more at Samsung.com. Samsung account login required. Calls must be made using the native Samsung dialer.
It's only a kick, a jump, a block. It's only a serve. It's only a tackle, a run. It's only for the fans. After all, it's only pressure. You got this. Adidas.
Life is a highway, and on it there will be many chicken sandwiches. But there's only one McCrispy. So go ahead and hit the turn signal if you know about this juicy gem of a detour.
Welcome back, Ram fans. This is Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. That's fansfirstsports.com. You can also follow us on YouTube. Our channel is at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. You'll hear from my co-host, Tom, on occasion as well. Hey, we're not Rams insiders. We're just longtime fans who love talking about our Los Angeles Rams. Let's get to it.
Welcome to another edition of Rams Up Roundtable, schedule release edition. I'm your host, Tom, at Rams Beat on X, and joined by our regulars. What's up, Ian? Pumped about the schedule?
Guys, I'm so blessed that American football is this country's number one sport. I mean, I just can't get enough of it. There's always content. There's always things to talk about. NFL is king, and happy holidays to everyone out there, all you football fans, all you Rams fans. We know who we're going to play and when we play them, and I'll see you at SoFi. Make sure you get your tickets, huh?
And also joined by Paul. What's going on, Paul?
Holding it down here on the East Coast. Excited. This is the start of the year, isn't it? Isn't this New Year's Day?
Yeah. Ian said Happy New Year.
It's time, man. It's right around the corner. I mean, shoot.
It is. Yeah. It's super cool that obviously we knew who we were going to play and where we were going to play them. We just didn't know when, what day, if it was Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then the order of the teams and so forth. So that's really what the analysis is here. We could just kind of go through this a little bit. Preseason games, we play just to get those out of the way. We play the Cowboys at home, which is great. And then the Chargers is an away game, but it's really a home game. And then we have one away game. I mean, it'd be nicer to get that long trip to Houston out of the way before week 3, but it is what it is.
True. But, and to that, Tom, real quick, I think we have joint practices the entire week with Houston. We'll get those starters versus starters work, that the Rams always put in with different teams throughout the year. So that'll be a productive week at least. They'll be out there for a full week, I want to say, doing that dual, ones versus ones, 2 versus 2 style training camp out there.
Yeah. So, Paul, what do you think? I mean, we have like these two essentially home preseason games, And as we know, McVay was really the one who started the whole thing with not playing starters. Now almost the whole league does that. And but we got this away game at Houston in preseason week 3. Do you think that the starters even, and then, oh, by the way, moving into week 1, 7 days later on Sunday Night Football, do you think the starters even travel to Houston?
I think I don't even know, man. I tell you honestly, I don't even know how people season anymore in the NFL with a 17-game season. I love the fact that Detroit's opening up. So having said that, I think they're going to play it close to the vest. I think preseason, I don't think the starters even smell a snap, tell you honestly.
No, I don't think they smell a snap, but I'm thinking, shoot, they might not even travel to the preseason. Is that the thing that, I mean, McVay could start? They're not going to play clearly in week 3 in the third preseason game, Ian, but do you think there's a chance that they just might Stafford and Kupp and put up these guys who aren't even going to play? Do they even get the wear and tear of the travel to and from Houston? I mean, Houston's not exactly a hop, skip, and a jump.
No, not at all. But again, I think it is scheduled that there will be the joint practices leading up to that preseason game. So it'll be up to McVay saying, hey, did we get enough good work in our own solo training camp? Do I feel good about where the offense is? Or, hey, do we want to go up against a D'Amico Ryans 49ers style-esque defense and see how our new look offense goes up against a different squad who runs that 4-3 scheme? That's going to be up to Sean. And look, if they have a great practice of solo training camp, Rams by themselves, then I think it's a coin flip whether they make that trip or not. But I feel like if it's kind of like we need more work, I think they're going to make the trip and at least do those dual practices with the Houston and spend the week out there. Obviously not playing the game, but we'll participate in those dual practices. Yes.
Yeah, kind of like we did with Cincinnati that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Okay. Well, let's move on to the fun part here. Week 1 with a bang. Away at Detroit, back to Stafford Field, and long trip, but plenty of time to get ready for it. First week of the season. So, Paul, you were talking about how big of a game this is. What are your thoughts?
I've said it many, many, many times before. This is the game they circle on the calendar from last year. The fact that they put it opening week, I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? What better way to get the ball rolling, right? Get everybody sort of motivated, like circle it early, go in with guns a-blazing, send that message early. I think it's going to be phenomenal for the entire country to watch. It's just it's an extension of that game. It really is. Pick up right where we left off. Think about it.
Yeah.
From the Rams' perspective.
All that Twitter trash talk that was going on, it's just got rekindled for the rest of the preseason, the rest of the offseason. It's crazy. So, well, good stuff. So we have Detroit week 1 away, and then come back and a little short trip out to see the Cardinals. And, what are you guys' thoughts about the Cardinals? It's obviously one of the teams that's, trying to rebuild, new coach. They're playing hard, but I just still don't think they're reloaded yet.
No, not at all. I mean, look, we've been blessed that, we've dominated Arizona for many years in a row now. I think we have some insane record where we haven't lost in the state of Arizona in quite some time. At least I think since Aaron Donald has been a pro, I don't think they've lost a game out there. It was something really remarkable. I think maybe one loss. It was some crazy stat. So with that said, and about where the Cardinals are at, I mean, long story short, whether it's the game here, in week 2 or the second to last game in late December when they come to LA, at the end of the day, they're still an inferior team at this moment, but I think they are much better than last year. You had Marvin Harrison, who everyone thought was the greatest receiver of his generation. You signed Zay Jones, who was a good starting receiver in this league, right? Been productive in many spots where he's been. And, James Conner's a legit running back, and they've improved the O-line, through the draft, and we'll see how that all shakes out. But I don't think them to be as bad as years past. And Gannon, his defense, to say what you want, they play hard, and they've acquired more talent there as well. So I think it'll be a tougher outing. And let's just be real. We probably should have lost to them when Josh Dobbs was playing that first time around. We just lucked into bad Josh Dobbs moments, right? And we just didn't play well. So if we come out playing, oh, it's just the Cardinals, we'll lose. We'll lose. We just got to hope a Kyler Murray panics with the new pass rushers that we have, because I mean, we always knew that he would fold when Aaron Donald was coming after him, right? So we'll see, but we can't take them lightly, or that's how you lose a game you should win. Okay.
Yeah, no doubt. So, and then it's on to back home against the Niners. So, we get the Lions. The Cardinals isn't that emotionally of a charged game for the Rams and the fans, but we got the Lions and the Niners first home game. Yeah, first home game, home opener against the Niners. Paul, thoughts? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's great. Rams first 3 games twice are on Sunday Night Football. The NFL is saying, "Hey, take a look at the Rams."
I think this. Awesome. I think this first home game, my friend. I think it's a 1:00 game. We do play the Niners on prime time later in the year, though.
Yeah, that's right.
This one in LA will be a standard 1:30 game. No prime time, unfortunately.
Oh, it's not. Oh,
no, it's not. The second time around in December will be a Thursday night game for sure, though.
I think it's great, though. I think it's great for the season to start. I always like starting out having the tough part of the schedule early. I think it's great for the team. I think it's a lot harder when you play the tough part of your schedule later in the season. If you're going to have a tough part of the season, you want to have it early. So, the team is fresh, the team is healthy, sort of gets gets all the cylinders hitting right. And it's a good litmus test early on in the season to know where you're at. So those first 3 games are really, really interesting. I think going back to the Arizona game, I think a lot of people are very interested in that because of the draft. They have a lot of good young players. From Ram fans' perspective, it's a nice contrast, right? The up-and-coming team to, I guess, the team we would be the team that's somewhat established, that sort of sights set on the larger prize this season. So I think the schedule makers might be onto something here.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And then off to another long trip to Chicago to see that team that's just full of young, exciting talent, and Rome and Caleb and the crew. So that's going to be super fun. That might even be a fun road trip. And so I mean, we got that young. Real quick to that, Tom.
An important note: it's in September. We will not play the Chicago Bears in the state of Illinois when it is freezing. Which the last time we did that, it was a disaster with Jared Goff and our offense. Remember that? We're playing the Vic Fangio defense back in 2018. It was freezing and we just couldn't do jack tiddly squat on offense. No problems this time around. So I think that's incredibly important, for the way that shaped out. Thank God.
Yeah.
No jackets, no gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And then we're home against the Packers. And then, it's also nice to avoid the Packers. Obviously it's at home. But we have to go out there. So in these first 5 games, right, and then our bye weeks in week 6. So we have 2 of our long road trips, 2 of our 5 long road trips out of the way in weeks, 1 and 4, with a home game and a short trip to Arizona in between, and then we get back against the Green Bay, and then we get the bye. So from the time we get back against Green Bay till the time we go on the road again, that's 1 home game, a bye, and then another home game, another home game. That's almost a month at home, right? That's that's crazy. So over a month at home, and so we get our bye. Paul, what are your thoughts on the bye week in week 6? Is it good to have it early? Is it kind of not so good to have it early?
I always love the later the better. The bye week.
Me too.
And when the team gets beat up, the bye week I think is always really nice. Get everybody, let everybody catch their breath and sort of get the team resituated. But it's the luck of the draw. The early bye also could be useful, you take a break and I guess refocus yourself for the stretch run. If that's the only way you can really think about it. Early buys, I hate. I hate to say it. I hate them. Early buys. But in this case, you got to make it work.
Yeah. And to another point about weather and us avoiding all that crap, Green Bay here in LA in early October, another blessing. How many times have we played the Green Bay Packers late November, December? It feels like since McVay's been a coach, it feels that way almost. The last time we played Green Bay here in LA was when we battled them in the Coliseum in the 2018 season, and famously Montgomery took out the kickoff when he probably should have took a knee for Rodgers, and he fumbled on that kickoff, and we recovered it, and Gurley ran out the clock running the ball. That was the last LA matchup, and let me say this real quick. LA fans, I need you out there for that game because we know Green Bay Packer fans are going to come ready to rock. I was at that game in 2018. It was 90% Packer fans. Now, we've come a long way since then, since 2018 to now 2024. I need you out there. Just want to share that real quick, Tom. Sorry.
Yeah, no doubt. 100%. There's certain teams that travel, and a few of them are on the schedule. And then, so we got the bye week in week 6, and then come back home against the Raiders. 2 home games, a home game against the Raiders, and then a short week coming back against Minnesota on Thursday Night Football. So thoughts on those 2 games, Paul?
When I saw this full schedule, not to jump ahead, but I had to go double check the Rams record. I was like, wait a minute, how did we get Buffalo, Green Bay, and everything? It's like interesting when you first look at the schedule. It seems like it's a pretty challenging schedule. Especially I'm like, wow.
But, I mean, Paul, people were like, we're tied for the 12th toughest schedule. It's so much better. I'm like, guys, look who we're playing. We're in the NFL. Exactly. No game is easy. Like, I don't want to hear all that. We have the weakest, the easiest or the toughest. Rams have the toughest every year since I've been a fan. So let's just get over that. Like, we have an easier schedule this year. I haven't felt that way in forever. So
yeah, I mean, just to recap for everybody, the Rams play obviously everybody in our division twice, and then we play the NFC. You've seen all the NFC by now. Through week 8, we've seen all of our NFC North opponents, right? We see Detroit, Chicago, Green Bay, and Minnesota in week 8. We're done with the NFC North after week 8. Pretty insane, front loaded, right? And we haven't seen any of our other division opponents, which is the AFC East.
Yeah.
So that's coming in the second half. And then the 3 games that the Rams play for coming in second last year are the other second place teams that are not in our division or those other 2 divisions, which is Las Vegas Raiders, Philadelphia Eagles, and New Orleans Saints. So that's how the schedule maps out. So we have a second place schedule. And for our, obviously the Eagles are a tough second place opponent. And we have the Saints and the Raiders, which probably are 2 of the easier second place teams in the league, quite frankly. So
feels that way,
anyway.
And real quick before you move on, Tom, so I can get with the Raiders again, another home game, but LA fans, I need you to pull up on that one, man. That's another one where I've been to many of those games, and that one gets overcrowded. And look at Raider fans, they pull up to these games just to see their team lose. They haven't won a game in SoFi Stadium or in LA as since the Rams and Chargers have been back ever. So, hey, we'll take that money. Thank you. It'll keep paying for all our beautiful things out here. But Rams fans, I need you to get out there. Stop reselling your tickets to these Raider fans. Stop reselling them to whoever. I need you out there. Now, the following week, our first Thursday night game. So it seems like the NFL schedule makers are trying to relive the past when Jared Goff had his coming out party against the Vikings, Kirk Cousins on that Thursday night game. Remember Goff was like a perfect passer rating, 4 touchdowns. He was just lighting the Vikings defense on fire. So I think, hey, Sean McVay, Rams offense, Vikings, O'Connell offense, young quarterback, great weapons. They're hoping for a big 30-point shootout like that was in that 2018 season. I feel like schedule makers are hoping for that to turn out to be the case, and that would be a good game here in LA. And everybody, I need you out there. Vikings fans, we're out there that last time way back when, and again, I need you out there best as you can. Anyway, that's all I had to say about those.
Yeah, no, that's Minnesota. I mean, that's that, like I said, that Thursday night game, and but it's pretty well set up, right? We're at home the week before, home in that game. it lines up pretty nicely, and it will be good to, there'll be a little bit of buzz around, now that McVay's coaching tree is continuing to grow. We continue to meet a bunch of his ex-coaches all over the place. So, so pretty cool. And then we're off to Seattle for a short, after that on the Sundays. We get 10 days off before we go up to Seattle. And I mean, that's new coach, kind of the hot new defensive coach in the league. There's a big article in The Athletic about how everybody's running his defense now, and it's kind of the hot new thing, but have to see how that goes. Next game I want to talk about to highlight is Week 10, home against the Dolphins on Monday Night Football, our only Monday night game of the year, and it's at SoFi, Paul. The Dolphins at SoFi. Woo! That's the game I'm circling, man. That is going to be insane.
Yeah, feels that way.
Start the fireworks now.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? I mean, that team is so exciting, and McDaniel has promised to change up to their offense, and I mean, they have some issues to work out on their offensive line, but that's a dynamic team as long as all those guys can stay healthy. But they're coming to town with that cast of that speed they have, and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah, and I think if the Rams offense shows out like it's supposed to, right now with their newfound depth, and hopefully the power running game, it's going to be exciting. That's going to be, you're right. That is a game to circle. That's definitely the over, right? If everything plays out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
That could be like a challenge to that Chiefs game, maybe.
I mean, just think of the star power in that game. I mean, OBJ and Jalen Ramsey returned to SoFi Stadium, right? Now they're Dolphin teammates. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, the running backs, Mostert and Achane. You have the play calling of McDaniels. Maybe for our benefit, hopefully no Bradley Chubb and Phillips on the edge, right? Because those guys are a great pass rushing combination. They're coming off the Achilles and the torn ACL for Chubb. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Our star power, the first Monday Night Football game with fans in attendance at SoFi Stadium, because they had that game in 2020 when the Bears visited, but again, COVID rules, there were no fans. So there hasn't been a Monday Night Football game here where fans have been able to attend since the stadium has been open in Inglewood. So that's exciting. And what a good game for that to be the case for the first time with fans. And I'll be there. I'll say that.
This is like the tale of two. We've kind of come up to the bye. We talked about it, 2 long road trips. Our home opener against San Francisco. We talked about the Detroit game, and out to Chicago for that game. Another long road trip against that exciting team, and then Green Bay, and then the bye, right? But starting with that Green Bay game, we go home, bye, home, a quick jaunt up to Seattle and back home for a Monday night game. That is a long time for without any real significant travel. I mean, that's like a month and a half. Now going into the next half of the last half of the season, week 11 on, it's a completely different story. And actually week 11 through 16, the next 6 games. So during that time, we go, the first part of that in week 11 is we travel to New England. Now, are we going to get weather, Paul, November 17th in New England?
You're coming down to the East Coast, bring a jacket, man. That's still not too bad. It's still not late in the year. That's not like Foxborough frost years. So okay. I think the Rams are safe. I think the Rams are okay.
But real quick, but we have a quarterback who has no issue throwing laser beams in bad weather. That's that's part of the trade why the Goff and Stafford thing got flip-flopped. Let's just keep it real, right?
Yeah. So, let's just remind everybody in Ram Nation that I have no problem with cold weather because that forces them to run the ball, man. So just run the darn ball. Call it a day. Let it snow. Let it snow. Let it snow.
That's right. That too, and we got the beef on the offensive line now to do it, whereas we didn't before. So so we're away in New England, and then week 12 home against Philadelphia.
Big
so that's a
game on that
Sunday
one.
night. That's a Sunday night football game, and another big marquee matchup, NFC teams. And I mean, Ian, Philadelphia. That's who we drew for a second place finish.
I know, it's crazy. I mean, either them or Dallas. So we were going to get a good opponent regardless of that draw. You know, obviously Philly collapsed severely. What a shocker having Matt Patricia call your plays on defense. What a shocker. And so they end up at the second place squad, and they've upgraded a ton. They've added players, you know, Saquon Barkley. I mean, talk about another, take the over game. It definitely feels that way for that one. And for whatever reason, we just can't beat freaking Philadelphia these last handful of years. So we got to definitely get over that hump, whatever that is. For whatever reason, we just can't beat them unless it's a Carson Wentz-led Eagles, right? You know, at the latter half of his time, because we did beat them in the COVID year when there was no fans. But every other matchup, we've gotten beaten, you know, borderline convincingly. Not maybe the score hasn't been outrageous, but you know, when you look back at the film, they're like, we got our butts kicked in that day. Time to change that, but it's going to be a challenge. You know, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon, the new addition. You have a top 5 O-line you got to go up against. Jalen Hurts, the running athletic quarterback. A defense that's probably not going to be terrible like it was this last season, but they have talented players, a great pass rush. Going to be a challenge. And then on top of that, Ram Nation, I need you out there. That's another game. I need you out there. Philly fans invade severely. I have friends that are Eagles fans. Shout out to them and their loyalty to them our entire young lives. It's you know, I'd say being generous is 70-30. 70% Eagles, 30% Rams. Every time we've been to a game here in LA, Coliseum or SoFi. I need you out there. I need you out there for these big games against big fan bases. Save up some cash. Do what you can to get out there on that Sunday night game, please, because your attendance positively affects us and the players and our chances to win. That's all I got to say about that.
I think we just have to get that T-shirt printed up. We need you out there. Ian's face on the front of the back. We need you out there.
Need you out there.
And I get it. Things are expensive. I get it. But look, if you're going to go to any home games, you can see San Fran and the Cardinals and Seahawks anytime you want for the rest of our lives. These other games where fan bases tend to come out and spend big cash, a la Packers, a la Raiders, Eagles, Cowboys when they're here. We can go down the list. You know who they are. We have some of those teams on the schedule. I want to see you guys at those games. That's where I need to see you guys. That's all. I'll stop on my rant.
After the Eagles in week 12, we are now another long road trip against New Orleans. So off to the Saints, and a team that's probably down a little bit, Paul, I think. But, you know, that fan base they still remember
the non-call.
They still remember Roby Coleman, and that game has so many storylines. Just as a side note, I mean, in with the field goals kicking and the makes and it's just a really interesting game, and that really did end. I mean, the Saints really did feel like they were going on to the Super Bowl that year, and that really ended that whole run for them. But anyway, they always welcome the Rams fans with that in mind when we go to New Orleans, Paul.
Right, and I gotta tell you, anytime the Rams are in a dome, to me, it's a win-win scenario, road or home. Keep this team in the dome, you know, and let's see how many points they can score. I think that's the philosophy for McVay.
Yeah,
anytime this team is in a dome, it's always a good thing.
It's the fast track mentality, gentlemen, right? It was, I mean, even, you know, Marshall talked about it, excuse me, when they were in the dome in St. Louis, where it was like, hey, man, we can just physically run faster on this turf. And that's why we broke records. So I agree with you, my friend. I mean, the more indoors we can play, I know Cooper Kupp doesn't like that. I know Cooper, hopefully we all get grass for everybody one day for NFL players. But
that would be awesome.
It's, you know, we'll take the advantage of running. If you're running faster on SoFi, you know, turf or indoor turf, wherever that may be. Hey,
like the famous line, 1/4 mile at a time. That's got to be the philosophy.
Yeah.
And so we got New Orleans, and we come back home for Buffalo, kind of swapping home and away games here. with some pretty significant big
it's a big game too.
long trips. Yeah, so that Buffalo, right? I mean, that's another really good team, and they smoked us in the home opener the year after the Super Bowl victory, and that kind of set the stage for the whole season that year. And,
yeah, I know. Congrats, General Manager Brandon Beane. You blew up your team just like we did.
Yeah,
it's funny how that turned out to be. We are trying to avoid a Rams-like collapse. Well, I mean, at least we won something. We got banners and we got hardware to show for that. And I just like to jab at that because that was just uncalled for. That was uncalled for by a professional, general manager of a professional organization. So, hey, we'll see you here, and you can look at that banner that you have yet to win. How about that?
Yeah, you can look at the banner and come visit the banner again. They have Josh Allen. They have a lot of good players.
And again, and real quick, sorry to interject again, Tom. Game where we're not in cold weather in upstate New York. Fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
That could have been bad. Right, because I know Buffalo, New York gets hardcore by December time. So
that is some hardcore.
Blessings.
That's a hardcore weather right there.
Yeah. So we're home against Buffalo, and then go up to San Francisco for a short away trip, and we know what that's all about.
Thursday night game, though, right?
Right. Good point. Thursday night game. So it's a short turnaround. So we have away at Buffalo, and then a short turnaround.
Home at Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my bad. Home at Buffalo, and then a short trip up to San Francisco. So
that's cool.
2 tough teams in a row for sure. And then in week 16, we're coming off that. We got 10 days rest, right? Coming off the Thursday night game. So then we go on a long road trip out to the Jets. That's the game. That's the game right there, where we're going to be hooking up with Paul, number one.
Yeah, we'll see you at MetLife.
Coming out to the island, and there it is.
Yeah, and then number 2, we're going to we're also going to face possibly some weather, right?
Yeah.
Paul, weather, December 22nd, New York Jets, MetLife.
For the holidays, there's a slight possibility. Listen, look. The schedule can't be too easy. There's got to be a couple of bumps in the road. The Rams got to get used to it. But think about it this way. They're this new look offense that we're talking about with the power running game. It's made for bad weather. Would be a nice way to look at this storyline. The Rams tested out in bad weather here at New York, right? We're tailgating in there with our mittens on and our skull caps.
Yeah, that Giants game last season was a late December game too, right? If I remember. Yeah.
And it was cold. Yeah. It wasn't terrible, but it was a little nippy out there. But yeah, coming out to New York, I think that's a new Ram tradition. I think that should be a nice tradition that the Rams start.
Hola.
Hello, this call is being translated.
Abuela, listen to what my phone can do.
Abuela, escucha lo que mi teléfono puede hacer.
Wow. Ahora dime sobre tu novia nueva.
Wow, now tell me about this new girlfriend.
Huh?
Tú sabes lo que dije.
You know what I said.
Language is no longer a barrier thanks to Live Translate with Galaxy AI on Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Learn more at Samsung.com. Samsung account login required. Calls must be made using the native Samsung dialer.
Oh, such a clutch pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom, too. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Go to Blinds.com for up to 40% off. Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Life is a highway, and on it there will be many chicken sandwiches. But there's only one McCrispy. So go ahead and hit the turn signal if you know about this juicy gem of a detour.
Welcome to the Flash Finds Podcast, the world's fastest podcast where we explore how Facebook can help you with the stuff you're into. I'm your host, Emma Rogue, and today I'm with creator and chef Chris Cho. Chris, what do people get out of your reels?
So people are super intimidated when they want to first try cooking Korean food, but through Facebook Reels, I make it super fun and easy and accessible within a 30 to 60 second video.
Reels is the cheat code. Thanks, Chris. See you next time on the Flash Finds Podcast, all about discovering the stuff on Facebook you care about. Bye.
I'm your inner dream monologue, and you're fast asleep, so I'll be quick. Great job using the Colgate Optic White Overnight Teeth Whitening Pen before bed. When used as directed, it gives you a visibly whiter smile in just 7 days. So while I fly and talk to animals, you're removing teeth stains with ease. Sweet dreams. And when you wake up, keep on living life to the brightest. Colgate Optic White. Find it at all major retailers.
Yeah, so that's the last road game. And then the week 17 and week 18 are both home games against the division rivals, the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Right. So we don't know when those games are. I mean, they could flex those games to a Sunday night or I don't know if either of those teams are going to be any good by then, but
who knows?
I'm just as happy with a 1:00 Sunday game and, get the guys in their normal flow of things and their normal schedule and routine. And, we get ready for the playoffs. So 2 home games against teams that aren't projected to be terrific is always a nice way to get to end the season, right? You can hopefully, kind of get healthier a little bit, maybe just, tune some things up, but, run the gauntlet really up until then.
Yeah.
And
gentlemen,
and something that you both had mentioned about that Buffalo game from I think Ian from the year prior, it made a good point that Buffalo came in and you could see even from probably 2 weeks before the game that they clearly had circled that game as a statement game.
Our banner night game you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really did. You could just see it, and the Rams took it for granted and just sort of dictated the way the whole season was going to play out. And so that's why I'm saying, like, this Detroit game, I mean, we've been talking about it, and the fact that it's opening night, I mean, the football gods were listening, and the Rams really have to see it in the same way. I see it just like that Buffalo game, man. And a lot of people said that, that the Rams weren't in the right mindset going into that game. 2 weeks prior to the game, they were saying it. Wow. And it's true, and that's what happened. So I really do. I really hope they load up for this game, and I really mean that. Like, pedal to the metal, at maximum top-notch performance as possible. Put as many points up on the ball, light it up like a pinball machine, and then the other part of it is, like, we were joking around about it, but the Rams, not just the Rams, but the NFL has to really take a look at this preseason situation. The viability of preseason and the way it's set up and how much utility it really has. And they're talking about putting in an 18th game. If you really are going to go, and it makes sense. If you want to go to an 18-game schedule, more power to you. But NFLPA, man, like, really, they got to, like, really work with the NFL, because this preseason scenario is just a nightmare. It doesn't make any sense. Tom was joking around about it, but it's true, though. The way the Rams treat the preseason, I think a lot of teams treat it. And I think, sort of like what Ian was saying, and when we go out there, like, early on to watch, like, the organized practices, so maybe something like that, like the structured practices, something like that, minimizing. And, as a fantasy football frequent flyer, the number of injuries in the preseason is absolutely nightmarish. And the way that the NFL was so, I don't know, how do you really say it, was so eager by changing the kickoff rules and everything else. They put that much time and thought into kickoffs, but have ignored the preseason for like how long? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I feel like they will pull that back. And then what I think will happen, I mean, if you think about it, is how do you get more content and protect the players? You add another bye week, right?
Yeah, that's the only way it makes sense, Tom.
You add another bye week. Now you elongate the season. The NFL gets a whole another week of regular season games on TV, because who cares if X, Y, and Z team are on buys more? There's 25, 28 other teams, whatever it is, that aren't on buys, and there's plenty of great games to show. So, I mean, that's the way they'll do it. They'll get rid of it. They'll narrow it down to 2 games, and and just get more content. I mean, the players in this league, they know, and the players, group, they know that that their bread is buttered when the NFL makes more money, and the salary cap is a percentage of profits, right? And and so, you know what, the NFL can sell their TV packages to more people. I mean, look, Netflix is getting the Christmas.
I was just gonna say, like, geez Louise, everyone was trying to avoid Sunday tickets and all this other stuff, and maybe illegal. Let's be real, everyone illegally streams games. 90% of fans out there, I would say, truthful. Let's just be real about it. And they're like,
Rams Up does not endorse cable stealing.
Not at all. But we just got to be honest about majority of people out there, unless you're out somewhere, unless you have a little satellite, antenna, you have the HD ones that you can buy for like $30-$40. Most people don't have that or don't realize you could buy that. So everyone's just digitally torrenting, streaming illegally these games. So they're like, hey, how can we continue to just make money? Because at the end of the day, the NFL is a business, everybody. And I wouldn't doubt one day that they make people pay for the Super Bowl like we do for any big, mixed martial arts event, right? Whether it be boxing, whether it be UFC. I mean, people have no problem dropping cash for that. I mean, I can totally see in the near future Super Bowl Sunday being a bot experience, which would suck. But I mean, it feels like we're leaning that way, right, gentlemen? I mean, shoot.
Yeah. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, it is different though, because the audience that they can predict, the networks will pay a fortune for those, and so I think that's the difference. Whereas networks aren't going to pay as much money for those fights and stuff like that. So,
and then the double bye week would work out nicely because you would have 6, 6, and 6 theoretically, right? You could even do the universal bye weeks, right? 2 universal bye weeks, 6, 6, and 6, and in those bye weeks, let's say. And the NFL can work out any way they like, but wouldn't that be great if we had universal bye weeks, and those 2 bye weeks you could have some type of agreement maybe with the, I don't know, XFL or whoever's out there, or try to drum up the World Football League again and broadcast 2 of their games in those seasons as the season is running concurrently. There's so many ways you can attack that, but break it up to 6, 6, and 6, right, where teams could attack their season in these like 6-week modules. I think would be ideal.
It does.
I like that. I haven't heard of that. I like that idea, man.
Because otherwise, the bye week, sort of, like who gets the early, who gets the late, who's getting in the middle. I mean, for this, I don't know. I always thought they should go to a double bye week, but it's across the NFL. The question is, how do you fill those weeks? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean that blows the inventory and blows the revenue grab that they're really trying to achieve. But that's the players. I think it'd be great for the players. Well, kind of that kind of puts a wrap on it, guys. I mean, this is really a tale of kind of 2-3 seasons. We got the first 4 games with these, the home opener with the Niners, the big opener with the Lions on Sunday Night Football, and then another long road trip to Chicago. And then we're home. I just did the math. If I did it right, the Rams are home for 43 days. And the only thing that they're doing, the only trip they have to make for like a month and a half is to Seattle. A hop, skip, and a jump. So that's the next phase of the season, weeks 5 through 10. And then like we just talked about, weeks 11 through 16 are 3 long road trips. And, against some pretty stacked teams, right? Philadelphia, Buffalo, San Francisco. And so, and then you're away at the Jets, and we don't know what the Jets are going to be. But if they're, if they stay healthy and Rodgers balls, that could be another tough game too. So that's kind of, and then the last 2 games at home against Cardinals and Seahawks, hopefully to get right and get into the playoffs if there's any still, or move up in the playoff rankings if there's still seedings, if there's still any issues. So pretty interesting schedule overall. I think in terms of my satisfaction with the schedule, given what the opponents were, we knew in advance, I'd give it like a 8 or 9 out of 10. I mean, I honestly, I couldn't even imagine trying to improve upon this. I love it. I love how it is. What's your score, Ian?
I'm going to give it an 8 because it's something I just noticed going through it. I mean, based off all the long month of time or more that we're going to be at home, which is nice. I mean, the schedule makers didn't screw us with 3 weeks in a row playing games away, right? The longest stretch we have is those first 2 games, right? Opening Sunday night against the Lions, middle of the day game against the Cardinals, and then the next 2-week back-to-back away games we have is the Thursday night game up in Northern California, and then we have the long trip to New Jersey, New York. That's it. Every other game is either multiple home games in a row or a back and forth between a home and away. It's pretty good. And the reason why I give it an 8 out of 10 is because I just hate the bye week that early in week 6.
Yeah.
If that was week 8 or beyond, this schedule will probably be a 10 out of 10 for me.
I agree. That's a good point. I think I couldn't agree with you more. San Francisco, though, it's just such a short trip. We're not even flying to San Francisco. It's like because Santa Clara, where they play, is like halfway between LA and San Francisco. I think the Niners got to travel almost as far as we do to get to that game. Anyway,
it feels that way.
Paul, what's your ranking of this schedule?
Well, I'm sort of biased because of that Detroit game, because I was calling for that Detroit game, and for them to put it, early in the season, game 1 of the season, forcing the Rams to come out swinging. To me, that's what I like. It like forces the Rams to come out swinging. None of that. Let's see how the season plays out. It's like forces them to bring out their A game from day one, which is, for me, something I think is important. The Rams got to come out early, jump out early, stay out hot early. Build a little bit of cushion within the division, right? Yeah. And then just keep pulling away. That's the way they got to approach this season, and I think that's really why they spend so much money on certain positions that they did. I think that is what they're going to try to do, and the schedule does favor them in that regard. If you take a look at the last 2 games, it's basically saying that we're anticipating the Rams to be out front. Right, think about it. So they put all those featured games. They backloaded the season with the Rams featured games right from week 8 through week 15. There are 5 featured games. 4 featured games. So 4 out of 8 weeks and 3 out of 5 weeks after a bye. So a lot of Rams are featured in a lot of late season games, which does, Paul, indicate that the schedule makers think the Rams are going to be in contention.
And to that point, gentlemen, I mean, we always got to remember any of these games could be flexed upward into a primetime Sunday night game. I mean, if Rams are on track and are winning games and have a positive plus minus, a positive winning record, and let's just say we hit that December 8th game against Buffalo. Buffalo's having a nice record. Let's say another primetime game that's scheduled. Let's just say, I don't know. Let's just say a Cowboys game against the Giants or something, and the Giants are abysmal. And they're like, yeah, that's not going to be a good draw. Oh, but that Rams-Bills in December, week 14, we'll flex that puppy up to a Sunday night game. Because for everyone out there who doesn't know, 6 is the most amount of primetime appearances one team could have. We're at 5 right now. So there is an opportunity for one more of these big games that we play, whether it's home or away, to be flexed up late in the year. And I would keep an eye on that game, December 8th against the Bills, for that game to be possibly flexed up to a Sunday night game here in LA. And to your point real quick about the Lions week 1, I love it because it lets this organization slowly build that desire to beat their asses week 1. That's the game that made Aaron Donald retire. That's the game Matthew Stafford should have went on another deep playoff run to shut up all these Detroit media people who suddenly think Matthew Stafford sucks. This is the game where Sean McVay can call a better game and run the damn football in the red zone so we can score more touchdowns. This is a game where our defense can be like, hey, we upgraded at corner. We'll shut you down, Amon-Ra St. Brown and co. I like for this to be a slow building anticipation for our organization to get a big win on national television. Mm-hmm. Help us out in the playoff seeding, help us out with a conference win, and help us shut everybody up thinking the Rams and Matthew Stafford and co. are just done. So I like it for that reason.
That's a great opening game, man. We're going to be talking about this for the next when is that game? August 11th. So what do we got? 3 more months?
September 8th, man. It's going to go by fast, dude. So it's
4 more months. Yeah, geez.
Yeah.
Ooh, crazy. Well, good stuff, guys. Great wrap on the Rams schedule release, and super excited about it here at Rams Up. Love to hear you guys' comments, and so until next week, we'll see you guys then. Thanks a lot, Ian, Paul, and everybody for listening.
Yes. Hey, real quick, everybody. My backdrop here is a screenshot of the Rams schedule release video. We got Puka, we got Stafford, we got Kupp, Byron Young, Kobe Turner, and Kyron throwing up the LA hand sign. Hit the YouTube channel, look up Rams 2024 release video, because now there's a social media war going on where every team's got to have some cool video about the schedule release. This one we did is A+. I mean, Rams had to have somebody working in the GTA video game market or hire somebody, because these graphics for CGI, I mean, again, guys, this is all CGI. These aren't our actual dudes, which is crazy. Check that out. Go Rams. I can't wait to see you all at SoFi very, very soon.
Good stuff, guys.
Double barrel ram horns.
That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.